Okay, mastery in grappling and BJJ. And I thought this was really good because not many people really understand this. There is a common misconception on what it means to achieve mastery in jiu-jitsu or grappling. To achieve mastery, we have to learn more and more techniques, or to achieve mastery, we have to find and learn just the right techniques. The overemphasis on techniques or technophilia shapes how most practitioners approach their training. It's almost like a trading card game where everybody tries to collect more or better martial arts techniques in order to beat others. Naturally, martial arts becomes about teaching or learning an increasingly complex collection of techniques. This is a fallacy we still inherit from our roots in traditional martial arts and the mysticism surrounding it. Not just that, it's also from the industrial age model of teaching. We teach, basically we tell you exactly what to do, you repeat it, and then you're good. And it doesn't work like that. I'm trying to see if I can skip to the next one. I think I can. Yeah, okay. What does it mean to act masterfully? Okay. To understand mastery, we should first take a look at what it means to act masterfully or to be a master in a certain field. A master acts mostly in a very fluent, intuitive, elegant, but yet effortless way. The right action seems to just present themselves to him with relative ease, and he seems to have a holistic grasp of the situation he is engaged in. Mastery is more like a mode of being, similar to, I don't know what this fucking name and how to pronounce that, Sizek or something, some Russian name, similar to his notion of flow state, and not so much a mere recollection of specific set of facts or techniques. Of course, even masters do not act exclusively in this effortless and intuitive way, but when they begin to struggle to think or to actively reflect their performance, one can actually sense a sort of disruption in their being. The next clips were taken from incredible documentary Being in the World by Tawa Rispoli, and will hopefully give you another feel for what it means to act masterfully. I haven't watched those, but I'm going to go to the last picture here. As you can see, mastery is a highly intrinsic, intuitive, and embodied attribute of each individual and not some secret knowledge or technique prescribed by an instructor. This is why I tell people, stop buying jiu-jitsu instructionals that say they've got some system. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's John Donaher or any of them. Don't buy it. There is no system to learning jiu-jitsu. There is only you, and you have to discover it yourself. There is things that can help you and ways of you structuring your training and looking at the way you learn so that you can shape it better to learn. But all these people sitting there saying, if you do exactly what I say, you're going to be good, are full of absolute shit and using marketing to make money. I guarantee it. Okay? So don't fall for anyone that says they've got a system for, a system that you can follow step by step and be good at jiu-jitsu. There's no step-by-step system in any art, in any form. If there was, it'd be so easy. Everyone would be doing it. Oh, I want to become a real estate agent. I want to become the best real estate. Okay, tell me exactly what to do. Okay, Kit, do these steps and then you're done. Okay, I just follow it and I'm successful. No, it doesn't work like that at all. There's a lot of self-reflection. There's a lot of problem solving. There's a lot of trial and error that you have to go your own path and really figure it out for yourself. Everyone is individually very different. School of Grappling. Are you reading my article? I am reading your article, School of Grappling, and it was very good. It was very well articulate. There's a couple books that friends sent me on learning, which explain a lot of this as well. This is on School of Grappling. You guys should follow School of Grappling on Instagram. Very cool. Okay. By adopting this view on mastery, techniques inherit a different and much lesser role. Of course, they are still used and taught, but practice will not revolve around them anymore since they are secondary at best. If skill acquisition and intuition is central to our practice, naturally the way we approach teaching and learning grappling, or sports in general, will look much different. This way, the coach plays a completely different role. He is not the great keeper of all necessary knowledge and slowly spoon-feeds it to his disciples as he sees fit. Instead, he becomes just a task or a game master, constantly creating new tasks and situations so that students can gain experience, evolve much more skills, and slowly approach mastery. 100%. Very well fucking said. And I've been waiting for people to realize this. I've seen it in every single sport. I've read it in every proper book that I've actually read on skill acquisition. There's Skill Acquisition in Sport. That's a great book. There's another one that a friend just sent me. I'll try and find that as well. but it really explains a lot of really good stuff about learning. And people really think about learning or, as a mechanical thing. It's really not. It's a very organic thing. Think about how you learned how to do everything. You learned how to speak, talk, walk, play games, ride a bike. You got on there, you start trying to get a feeling for it. You make a whole heap of mistakes and you learn from that. You have to remember one thing that's super important. The human body is designed or has evolved to do two main things: to reproduce or to survive, or to do both. Reproduce and survive. Now, you've got to think, what is learning? Learning is the body's natural answer to surviving dangerous situations. That is the whole point of learning. It's to survive so that you can reproduce. So when you're in a dangerous situation, your body does two things. It tells your body, your brain tells your body to release adrenaline, to speed up your heart rate, to allow more blood and oxygen to go to your muscles. It dilates your pupils to allow more light in. It makes you feel sick sometimes so that you can shit or throw up, so you can run, so you can be lighter, so you can fight instead of using energy on digesting food. It does all this to use as much energy as it can muster to survive a dangerous situation. The other thing it does, which is mainly the amygdala that's doing this, is it tells your body to take in as much information, to absorb as much information from its environment so that it can learn from this situation to survive in the future. It can learn from this situation. Now, what dictates how much information you absorb in a situation is how emotionally aroused you are. And I don't mean sexually aroused, I mean emotionally aroused. How scared are you? How excited are you? How fearful are you? That plays a huge factor in how deep you store information. Now, if you are not very scared and it's not a very emotionally arousing situation, your brain says, hey, we're safe right now. You don't need this to survive. Let it go. So when you're trying to practice techniques, for example, and you're in class and the teacher tells you, here's how to do a technique, you start practicing it, and you're sitting there and you're consciously like, I need to remember these techniques. I need to remember it so I can force it on my opponents later. Your brain is telling you, forget this shit. We don't need it to survive. It's unnecessary. It's clustering my information. I just want to learn shit that helps us to survive. So then if you look at positional sparring, when you're doing positional sparring or you're rolling, suddenly there is emotional arousal. You're happy, you're excited, you're scared, you're having fun. So suddenly your brain is telling you, oh shit, we need this information to survive because this is a dangerous situation. Depending on how emotionally aroused you are, obviously will dictate that. But this is a dangerous live situation, so let's take in as much information as we can to evolve from this. And then as you're playing and you're organically making these mistakes, you're using trial and error to learn, especially problem solving, you're also doing a thing that's called a skill acquisition cycle. It's what the military call OODA loop. Basically, it's a 4-step cycle that you do consistently over and over again whenever you're problem solving. You evaluate a situation, you come up with a solution, you execute that solution, and then you evaluate its success. Did it work? Did it not work? Why didn't it work? Why did it work? Then you take that new information, you go back to maybe the same problem or a different problem. Usually in positional sparring, it's the same problem. So now you go back to the same problem with new information that you just gathered through experience while being emotionally aroused so that you're going to remember this for a long time. You come up with a new situation, a new solution based on new information. You execute that, you get more information. Did it work better? Did it not work as good? Did you try something different? Take more information back to the same position and then go and over and over and over again. This is how you acquire skill and knowledge that's going to stick with you for a long time. This is how you learn to do everything. So why do we learn jiu-jitsu in a very backwards manner? One, because of old martial arts that were, karates and stuff like that were taught like that. And two, because the industrial age model teaches like that. Do you rate visualization techniques? Not really. I don't rate techniques very much at all. I don't mind visualizing a role or how you can perceive it going, but to do that, you really need to learn the way I'm talking, so you have a declarative and a good amount of declarative information. There's two different, very basically, there's two different stores of information. There's procedural information, which is muscle memory, which is stored in the muscles, okay? And there is declarative information, things that you declare, that's like intellectual information. If you learn through drilling stuff, then what you're doing is you're creating a lot of procedural information, a lot of muscle memory, but it's not stuff you can recollect, okay? It's just stuff you execute, your body does naturally. If you create declarative information through problem solving and trial of error, and really questioning why and asking yourself why things work, which is what Socrates called the key to, what do you say? It was the key to human excellence is in questioning oneself and others, asking the question why deeper and deeper and deeper till you have a core understanding. So in every position, if you're making mistakes or things aren't working, keep asking why and try and figure that out. You're going to build your declarative information, which is like a scaffolding system of information. The more information you have, the easier it is to apply new information. So if you think about learning new things, it doesn't matter whether it's visual, kinesthetic, or audio digital. The most important way of learning is through is how you associate to that information. If you can associate to the new information, it's very easy, okay? And I'll give you an example. If I said to you guys, and I was teaching you about something you have no knowledge on, I start using very intricate wording, you're going to be very lost. But if I say, oh, it's like, I use analogies like, it's like walking, left foot, right foot, you're like, oh, that makes sense, It's how you associate with the information. The more information you have of something, the easier it is to learn new information. So right now, School of Grappling is watching me, right? And he knows what he's talking about. So everything I say, he's going to understand. But if you're a white belt and you're a beginner, there's a lot of what I'm saying that you're probably going to go, oh, I don't really get it. So the more information you have, the easier it is to apply new information. The best way to get that knowledge is to trial and error, problem solve your way through things and learn that way. There's a really good way to explain this. Simply, how do you think the Gracie family learnt Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? There was no instructionals or professors to teach them. Exactly. They just learnt from trial and error. Everyone can do it. But for some reason, we get to an age where we think, okay, I want to learn exactly how to do something. And sometimes maybe it's expectations. Maybe we think that, we need to do everything perfect. And we think that, and maybe the teacher puts a lot of emphasis on techniques. So they're like, you need to practice this technique perfectly, and you get into the art that way. Maybe you prefer the art that way. Maybe you're more of a choreographed dancer, where you like katas in martial arts and forms of older kung fu stuff for movies especially, then that's fine. But if you want it for actual learning and understanding, then you're going the wrong path.